The solar flash and pole to shift event. 9.1 The nature of the event. For a long time, humanity went on ignorant of their place in the cosmos, but this was to change greatly in the 20th century. Ever since the early 1900s, the ETs decided to bring their current human project to a conclusion. A massive energetic change was occurring in the galaxy, which was accelerated with the projection of a new frequency from the black hole at the center of our galaxy. It is said that our sun will experience a pole shift, and that this will be triggered by pole shifts occurring in neighboring stars of the Sagittarius arm. This will trigger a micronova event in which the sun will spew out waves of higher dimensional matter onto the surface of the surrounding planets. Similar to the chakra burst phenomena discussed earlier, this is a means through which the sun ejects a coating of lower frequency particles after its core frequency has been elevated. Shortly before this solar event, people will notice that the veil between dimensions will thin due to the rise in background frequencies on Earth. This will allow many humans to become more psychic and perceive ghosts and auras. When this micronova hits the Earth, it will induce a pole shift on Earth. Sources like David Icke and Alex Collier initially predicted a pole shift to occur in the 2000s and 2010s, but this has been delayed by the Saturn Council ETs using their technology until the needed preparations are made. The Vedas and the Mayan calendar also speak of a period of great change occurring after 2025 and 2012 respectively. According to Dolores Cannon, the pole shift is expected to occur around October 2029. Races such as the Zenedians and Andromedans have stated that an effort will be made to slow down the pole shift, but we should still expect a great flood event due to the water from the oceans and seas crossing onto the land. The ice caps of the earth will also melt, and as a result, the sea level will rise permanently. There will be earthquakes and volcanic eruptions in regions that lie between the Earth's tectonic plates. In some regions, the elevation will increase greatly as the tectonic plates fold upwards upon rubbing against each other. The weather pattern will also shift worldwide around the decades before and after the shift. This has largely been blamed on carbon dioxide emissions to divert the world population's attention away from the real cause of climate change. Blaming fossil fuels which produce carbon dioxide has also helped the cabal push for electric vehicles, which will be even more susceptible to the coming solar event. Several ET races, channelers, and hypnotists have warned of this event, and some have stated that this has occurred up to 80 times in Earth's history, and that the cabal's network has been aware of this for a long time. This seems to be the reason why solar flares are becoming more common these days. It is a build-up to a major event that will take place in the near future. In a traditional solar event, small waves of charged particles bend the geomagnetic field of Earth, and this creates a strong pulse that can damage sensitive electronics connected to the grid. Usually the power grid is at risk as copper lines can run for many miles in alignment with the pulse. This could lead to transformers and other equipment connected to the grid experiencing power surges that may damage them. By simply having systems in place to disconnect large sections of power lines and turning off the grid for a few hours during a solar storm, engineers can combat these storms effectively. However, in the upcoming micronova event, the Earth's surface will be significantly energized by waves of particles coming from the sun to the point that the Schumann resonance will skyrocket. The elevation in background frequencies will shift Earth towards 5D, and in the process, our electronics will cease to function similar to how they fail to work within UFOs due to the elevated background frequency size maintained inside. That is why when Alex Collier went to the Andromedan ship, his watch failed. His iPod also had to be modified to have another 3D cocoon over it, so that it would still function. Dolly Safran has had many abductions since 1973, and she confirmed the same thing. Have you noticed electronics also fail in recent crop circles or haunted places where the field is differently configured? Batteries act dead upon entering such zones, but the device boots back up upon leaving those zones. In some cases, batteries left in such areas overnight completely lose their charge and can't be reused even outside the zone without being recharged. This is because at higher atomic frequencies, normally insulating medium such as air seems to start becoming electrically conductive. The electronics released to the human population in the last half a century is a great Trojan horse. If we never made our infrastructure so dependent on electronics in the last 70 years, this wouldn't have been an issue. The ETs allowed a few decades to pass after electronics were first seeded into human civilization through the psyop NSA in order to make everything smart and thus susceptible to the event. A 72-year window also ensured that by the time the solar flash event occurred, all humans who knew how to survive without electronics would be already deceased, and this would make us even more dependent on ET technological and material aid for sustenance. We will have to wait until the background frequencies drop back to lower levels, and this may take many years. Before that happens, world economies will collapse and humanity will suffer for it. At the same time, the shift in frequency will elevate our perception of reality and sensory capability. The rise of atomic frequency will bring a lot of things that are hidden out in the open. We will all eventually become telepathic and be able to perceive consciousness around us directly. We will regain access to our genetic memory and will be able to perceive memories from previous lifetimes that are stored in the causal body. We will also regain the ability to see additional bands of color, and with it, we will start being able to see life in adjacent dimensions walking amongst us. Those incarnated will become able to communicate with their disincarnated friends and family. Naturally, this will confuse and startle all the survivors. Many will see that their auras have been infiltrated by so many thought forms and astral entities, and thus a need to remove their attachments will arise. Many of the souls in adjacent dimensions are aware of the truth regarding human relations, and they will try to help humanity understand the nature of their situation. However, just like the population on Earth, the majority of souls will be ignorant, and they will fall for the same deception that those incarnated will fall for. During the solar event, children will be the first to become able to shift dimensions and disappear. They will be the ones who will mentor the adults on how to translocate and use newly discovered psychic capabilities. This will be what some see as the start of the age of Aquarius or the Satya Yuga. However, many will not be able to tolerate the shift in frequency as they are so accustomed to a low-frequency 3D background. Their bodies will not be able to handle the higher frequencies, and they will suffer from heart palpitations and brain aneurysms owing to neurological failure. It is said that men will have a harder time than women adapting to the change in frequency, as energy doesn't flow easily through their energy centers, as they are less open and more traumatized through their experiences on 3D Earth. Many people will also go insane from excessive telepathic stimulation. Their third eyes will be forcefully tuned to a higher frequency band, and thus they will find it hard to mute all the telepathic information coming to them. The solar flash event is believed to occur soon, probably between 2024 and 2034. This event will mark the end of our current genetic experiment, which began with the flood of Noah. For ET races that have been involved in Project Mankind, this was their chance to develop hybrids and interbreed with members of our population before the catastrophes occurred. This is why, since the 1950s, so many people from around the world have experienced mating with humanoid ETs, or having their sperm and egg samples taken for the creation of gray-human hybrids. This was also why the ET presence around Earth has skyrocketed in the last few decades. A portion of the Saturn Council aligned with the Draconians and the Orion Greys seek to use this event to reduce our population greatly and have us replaced with the next genetic experiment. The ETs of the Saturn Council have purposefully kept themselves hidden from us, ignorant of their existence, so that we would not wake up to their plans before it is too late. According to Dolores Cannon's book, The Keepers of the Garden, a group of ETs within the Saturn Council are also debating the chances of violence breaking out if Atlantean humans who are pale-skinned, taller and thinner than us are released to the surface world. The ETs are concerned that we may not be willing to share our space with them even though they promise to return lost knowledge to us. These Atlanteans currently reside in bases beneath the Gulf of Mexico. There has been a long-term Cold War raging amongst the ETs for control of this world. When humanity awakens to the nature of their situation, the ETs of the Saturn Council are afraid that this war for control over our solar system and its genetic and soul resources will resume again. According to Corey Goode, the Saturn Council has already disbanded in 2019 due to tensions among the races in charge of our race. Humanity will inevitably be dragged into this war, and they will have very little time to adapt to the true nature of their situation. I want to add that there is a chance that figures within the ICC and sources like Corey Goode have been misled into believing that the solar flash event is entirely natural. Perhaps the pole shift that will occur will be artificially induced by the ETs using tractor beams like how the Nibiruans have done in the past to eliminate the global human population. Only time will tell. 9.2 The Good Cop, Bad Cop Game. In the late 2010s, the Cabal started their plan of slowly getting the public accustomed to the fact that ETs exist and that they have been interacting with world governments for a long time. It started off by having reputed scientists admit that ETs must exist as there are billions of stars in our galaxy and thus it is mathematically improbable for sentient life not to exist elsewhere. Before this period, scientists were of the opinion that other intelligent life may not exist elsewhere. By 2021, the U.S. government slowly started getting the masses to accept that ETs have been visiting the Earth through the Pentagon UFO report to Congress. In 2022, through news channels, figures like Luis Elizondo, Nick Pope, Jeremy Corbell, Daniel Sheehan, Neil deGrasse Tyson, and Christopher Mellon have brought more attention to the UFO or UAP topic. As of 2023, others like Stephen Greer and David Grush have come into the spotlight and are presenting information that suggests that the U.S. government has known about the ET presence for a long time and has reverse engineered technology from UFO crash retrievals. People with greater knowledge of the UFO topic are still not allowed to come forward into the mainstream news channels, but this paradigm is slowly shifting. There are several reasons the Cabal is allowing a partial disclosure to unfold shortly before the solar flash event takes place. The main reason is to guide us to a narrative that will ensure that we will still remain under the control of the Saturn Council ETs, even after we realize that we were part of a genetic experiment run by them. The Cabal is aware that people will learn the truth of ET existence during the solar event, and thus it is necessary to control the UFO movement beforehand so that the desired narrative becomes accepted. For this purpose, the ETs controlling humanity have decided to split themselves into two major groups when appearing before us. They will play an elaborate good cop, bad cop game with us, as we will be very unlikely to trust beings that look different from us. The Draconians and Orion Greys will be labeled the main bad guys. Much evidence has come out highlighting these groups as negative. We will be told that they created an alliance and are responsible for humanity's genetic exploitation. We will also be taught that the ICC and the Dark Fleet were controlled by them. Meanwhile, the Atlantean human-like ETs that joined the Draconians in destroying Lemuria will play the role of the good guys. In alignment with our Star Trek biases, they have labeled themselves the Galactic Federation. As there have been cases of human-like ETs seen working with the Cabal, the Galactic Federation will protect itself by stating that those ETs are rogue Lyrans who have nothing to do with them anymore. Currently, the ETs from Taygeta, Tau Ceti, Nibiru, Alpha Centauri, Sirius A, Arcturus, Andromeda, and Orion Council of Five state that they have ties to the Galactic Federation group. As Alex Collier was originally told by the Zenitians, not all Pleiadians are to be trusted. Those from Taygeta and Alcyone have ulterior motives, one of which is to create the illusion of freedom within the UFO community so that they will become more passive during critical times that will decide the future of humanity. It is because of the mutual understanding between both the good cop and the bad cop that they respect each other's agendas on Earth. For example, isn't it strange that people like Alex Collier, Elena Danaan, and other contactees who have met ETs connected to the Galactic Federation are allowed to spread anti-reptilian and anti-gray propaganda when the Cabal is supposedly working with them? The reason they are not eliminated and instead allowed to dominate the UFO community is simple. The Draconians and the Orion group, including the Cabal under them, have agreed that such figures are instrumental in setting up the good cop, bad cop theme. It is for the same reason that the Draconians and the Orion Greys do not instruct their own human agents in the UFO community to spread propaganda against the human-like Nordic ETs, such as those within the Galactic Federation. Similarly, to protect the interests of the bad cop, the Galactic Federation ETs do not teach any of their contactees any method to hamper abductions or interfere in the plans of the Cabal. They do not give us names of figures that are linked to the Cabal and explain how their network is organized. They do not reveal the exact location of negative ET underground bases. They never admitted to the existence of a Saturn Council that linked the Greys, Reptilians, and human-like ET races together before Corey Goode came into the picture, as they were afraid that it would help us see through the good cop, bad cop game. Through figures like Elena Danaan, they assert they had nothing to do with the Saturn Council and instead played a role in shutting them down. Here I am going to list out many other observations that indicate that the so-called good ET races may not be on our side like they claim. E. They never allow photographs or videos to be taken by their contactees of themselves or their crafts up close. A. They never allow other people than the chosen contactee to observe their activities. A. They hardly ever allow the contactees to bring back some evidence of any kind, biological or technological. Some people have been able to take non-conclusive photos of their ships from afar, but these are mostly useless in convincing the common public that UFOs exist. E. They seldom allow their crafts to be seen up close by large crowds. E. They never give accurate and detailed predictions of future events, even though they can perceive future timelines. The previous 5 courses of action are not allowed as they can serve as sufficient evidence to alert more of humanity to the existence of ETs, and this can potentially impact their plans. I. Never facilitate communication with human souls on the other side who are much more aware than incarnated humans are, even though they can telepathically communicate with them readily. E. They never link the contactees to other sources of information that can complement their limited understanding. You will never hear of cases in which contactees were directed toward books like this one. Chi. The ETs hide the exact laws or policies that are in place when it comes to dealing with humans. They never expand on the specifics of their non-intervention policies. DE, the ETs don't explain the events of our past in detail. Each positive race is telling us a slightly different version of the past to confuse us. As a result, the UFO community is still confused as to the exact origins of the human race. They hide the full extent of the technological capabilities and psychic abilities possessed by most ET races overseeing us. For example, very few in the UFO community are aware that hypnobeams and holographic computer systems within UFOs mind control people of influence regularly. The community is not made aware that ETS astral project inside our homes and study us from adjacent dimensions. The querying of the human mind to steal information from a person without him even being aware of it is another secret the positive ETs hide from the community. They don't clearly explain how disclosure will play out and what are the potential endgame scenarios planned for us by the negative ETs. D8, despite shaming the deep state through their channelers and contactees, the positive ETs never do anything to thwart the operations of the deep state using their channels. It is very rare for them to mention any names or locations. They also do not inform the public about the organizational structure of the deep state and the roles of each corporation, council, agency, or department involved. Most of what we learn about the deep state is through whistleblowers who have been directly involved with their operations, or researchers like David Icke. They don't tell us much about the gray hybridization programs, including how to prevent them. The good ETs are hiding the fact that hybrids have already infiltrated human society and that they are stored underground waiting for humanity on the surface to be wiped out. The last 6 points deal with suppressing the amount of information available to us so we won't see through their schemes. If the negative ETs were actually fighting with the good ETs like the good ETs claim, why haven't we seen signs of conflict in our skies or in space? I'm not aware of any recovery of UFOs that were shot down due to fighting amongst the ETs. If the negative ETs were the ones suppressing humanity, why is it that the UFO community, which will play a crucial role in the future, is guided towards worshiping the positive ETs? Wouldn't the negative ETs have spread anti-Galactic Federation and anti-Nordic ET propaganda to ensure that we would never trust the so-called positive ETs? Yet this is not the case. According to the information provided by Elena Danan, Frank Strange, and others, the U.S. military has been working with the positive ETs at the same time they were working with the negative ETs. This would be unusual if the positive ETs were trying to free our race from the negative ETs. The positive ETs only allow a few members of their military to interact with civilians. The fact that ordinary citizens are not allowed to interact with humans is a sign that they are hiding the truth from us. Very likely their populations are kept ignorant of the situation on Earth. According to 4, there are protocols in place to capture rogue or runaway ETs who attempt to wake up humanity or land on Earth. This explains why we don't ever get to see ETs in public. Why are the positive ETs enforcing this protocol as well from their side as well? It prevents humanity from getting more opportunities to wake up. Sources have indicated that the Galactic Federation has bases on Mars, Haim Esht, and Jupiter, Elena Danan. The Draco also has bases on Mars through the Dark Fleet, and Jupiter, Tony Rodriguez. Additionally, several secret space program insiders have claimed that Tegatans, Pleiadians, and Andromedans, ETs, linked to the Galactic Federation, were working with them while they served under the German breakaway in ICC. This strongly suggests that there is cooperation between both sides. They claim to work with the Solar Warden and Lunar Operations Command that oversees them. However, a compartmentalized part of Solar Warden is participating in unethical activities involving selling human meat and humans in cages to ET races foreign to the Saturn Council. Crew members in the Solar Warden. may also be involved in genocide against the native reptilians and insectoids on Mars for the Mars Defense Force run by the German breakaway. The Federation claims to follow some sort of non-intervention policy, yet they are heavily intervening in the future of our world by helping shape the UFO community of today that will go on to guide the masses after disclosure. The main thing that the good cop ETs are doing is spreading narratives that help establish the good cop and bad cop roles. There is a chance that the story spread in the community through contactees and channelers of drawn-out conflicts between the Galactic Federation ETs and the Draconian Orion empires is a fabrication designed to instill in us the sense that we are dealing with two opposing forces when in reality they are working together on exploiting our race. These narratives will guide people post-disclosure towards falling for the plans of the Saturn Council ETs. I want to mention that both these groups within the Draconian Atlantean Alliance are not working together out of loyalty to each other. Rather, they see that instead of fighting each other over Earth, it would be better if they could work together and divide the spoils. This way would provide a strategic advantage to both parties. The Pleiadians are at war with the Greys under the Draconians elsewhere, and they want to invest in human super soldiers to do the fighting for them. The Draconians have also been able to use the German breakaway to do the same for them. Eventually, the Cabal will play out a fake alien invasion with the help of technology available within the secret space programs. The Project Blue Beam Theory by Serge Monas talks about this. Many on Earth will also start reporting demonic apparitions. While the mainstream religious community will be convinced we are dealing with devils and demons versus God, the UFO community will be spreading the idea that it is a battle between positive and negative ETs. We will see holograms of spaceships battling each other in the sky. Like how alternate views were suppressed online during COVID-19, the Cabal will suppress the word that what is observed is a fake alien invasion using their control of social media and search engine algorithms. Many real UFOs will also be used to boost credibility. We will be led to perceive the Galactic Federation ships chasing away the Orion Empire and Draconian ships. Shortly after, the Galactic Federation ETs will make their appearance on the public scene and talk publicly to the people of Earth. They understand how we tend to trust beautiful figures and will send the prettiest ETs to make contact. They will convince the people that they are here to help us fight off the bad ETs who, along with the Cabal, have been responsible for much of our suffering. We will see many world leaders shake hands with them on live television. We will be told that those world leaders were part of a secret Earth alliance that was trying to overthrow the Cabal without spooking the human population, and that they can be trusted. However, this Earth alliance will still be controlled opposition under the Cabal, even if their lower rank members are not aware of it. Very likely Donald Trump will be used for this agenda. The Federation will claim that its non-intervention policy was the reason behind them not openly interfering with humanity all this time, that only when the Draconian and Orion empires decided to openly invade the Earth through the fake alien invasion, would galactic laws allow for them to interfere to prevent our extinction. They will claim that the other alliances were not limited by such a non-intervention policy, and that is why they could have their way with humanity all this time. However, this is a lie, as the Federation has been caught interfering multiple times in the affairs of our race without consent. They just make an effort to hide open intervention so that this excuse will be more believable in the times to come. For example, according to Haim Esht, the Galactic Federation has a base on Mars where they work alongside the USA's and Israel's secret space programs in reverse engineering technology. This was from a period even before the Galactic Federation told their contactee Elena Denon that they had liberated Mars. This suggests that they were working with the ICC and the German breakaway the entire time, which is intervention and a betrayal of the trust of the human population on Earth. The Federation will claim that they were late to arrive on the scene as the Orion Empire was battling them in space. They will claim that they had to remove all the reptilians, greys, and elements of the Dark Fleet and ICC first before making themselves known safely, that this took time and was only achieved in 2021. Since then, they will claim that they have been working with the Earth Alliance in orchestrating ET disclosure. However, in reality, there will be no real Earth Alliance, only extensions of the Cabal posing as an Earth Alliance. This is just another false, good cop, bad cop game to maintain the hierarchy on Earth. Elena Denon has been told by the Galactic Federation that the positive ETs have removed the bad ETs from inner Earth and that we are just dealing with what remains of the Cabal until they show up. This is another major lie. Such an action by the Galactic Federation would have resulted in open hot war with humanity caught in the middle. There was no hot war among these ET races in our vicinity yet. If there was such an open war, we would have seen signs of it by now, even in 3D. To prevent humanity from interrogating the Cabal themselves, the Galactic Federation will tell the public that they negotiated a surrender with them and that the leaders of the ICC and Dark Fleet have been moved to a prison planet in an undisclosed galaxy. This way, we will have no chance of interrogating them and learning about the good cop, bad cop game. It is for the same reason that we will be told that all the negative ET groups have been removed from Earth, Mars, and the Moon. This way the humans on Earth will have no one to extract answers from. We will be forced to trust what the Galactic Federation and their Earth Alliance are telling us. The Galactic Federation ETs are aware that many of the human souls in the emotional planes are much more aware of the good cop, bad cop game than the masses on Earth, and even those within the UFO community. This is why the ETs have not supported communication between the souls on the other side and incarnated humans so far, even though they are regularly able to speak to souls in the emotional planes telepathically and through astral projection. They want to set up the beliefs of the human population before the aware souls in the emotional planes get their chance after the solar event. They hope that the unaware souls in the emotional planes, who constitute the majority, will simply mimic the beliefs taught to the masses on Earth by the Federation. Aware souls in the emotional planes are being targeted, and many of them seem to be disappearing. When people learn of the fact that many of our politicians, military leaders, and heads of corporations were working with the Cabal in limiting humanity, there will be widespread hatred toward human authority. In a fit of anger, many of the low-ranking officials who were left behind by the Cabal will be attacked by the public in the madness that will ensue. We will not be able to get much information out of them, as the ones left behind on the surface of Earth will know close to nothing. Thus, like the common masses, they too will be of the opinion that the Galactic Federation is genuinely fighting for our best interests. The real elites who were in on this transhumanist agenda will be residing in the safety of their deep underground bunkers that will be partially shielded against the solar event and associated pole shift. Many of them will also migrate to their colonies in other star systems. They will have abundant resources needed to survive the coming events until the surface population is replaced by the next genetic experiment. For their service in handling humanity, many of these elites will not be sent to a prison planet like the Galactic Federation has us believe. 9.3 Exploiting religious biases. Months before the solar flash event occurs, there will be operations conducted by the Saturn Council races to covertly retrieve star seeds that have volunteered to incarnate on Earth. The ETs do not want too many of their starseeds to remain on Earth during these times, as they may be able to retrieve memories of the activities of their ET race or alliance, and use this against them during the solar event. Many starseeds get attached to their family and friends who are human, and thus the ETs are aware that they will probably turn against them to protect humanity. These starseeds will be taken to ET worlds for habitation until the events on Earth play out according to the plans of the Saturn Council. They will not be allowed to interfere and guide the human population that will be left behind on Earth. The extraction of starseeds will be covered up through a larger-scale mass evacuation of humans by the Orion Greys with the help of Sirius B humanoid ETs. The Sirius B ETs are planning to send ETs who will play the role of Sananda, Jesus Christ, and Commander Ashtar to oversee the extraction of humans through motherships. Mark Brinkerhoff's experiences support this. He talks about meeting Jesus' current ET incarnation named Sananda and Commander Ashtar on a spaceship. They told him about the upcoming rapture event and how humanity would be given a chance to leave Earth a few days before the catastrophes occurred. Many will see this as a great rapture and will gladly agree to be taken aboard motherships that land close to cities. Others will be beamed on board into the skies like the prophesied rapture event that the ETs have seeded into the collective subconscious eons ago precisely for this moment. However, the ETs will purposefully not extract everyone. Only those whose genetics are valuable for future hybridization programs or are starseeds of the Saturn Council races will be taken. Those who will not be extracted will be told excuses, that they were immoral or their faith in Jesus was not strong enough. After the solar flash event has wiped out the majority of the world population, the same ET races plan to return again for a second round of mass evacuations once they feel that the population won't drop anymore as the humans that remained have learned to survive without electronics. Many abductees around the world have been programmed to guide crowds of panicking humans toward these ships, and they will remember this programming only when the frequency shift occurs. Those who will go into these spaceships will fall for a depopulation agenda run by the Orion Group and their allies to free up Earth for the next hybrid experiment. They will likely be dumped in a lesser world that does not have the rich biosphere and habitability that the Earth provides them. In a worse scenario, they will be killed and their souls will be dumped back here to fuel the evolution of the next genetic experiment. Usually, the Saturn Council only allows their most valuable mainstream genetic experiments to occupy paradise worlds or zoo worlds like Earth. Dolores Cannon, in her book Keepers of the Garden, was told by the Greys that they were gathering the best genetics of Earth to start civilization in a pristine Earth that was somewhere else in the galaxy. The Grey continued to tell her that when the second coming occurs, shortly after the Earth changes occur, many from Earth will be allowed to migrate there. Dolly Safran has also been in contact with Greys from Orion who told her that they plan to evacuate the human population during the solar event. Susie Hansen, a ufologist from New Zealand, has memories of a tall gray scientist and a man from the military giving a speech to a crowd of abductees in a deep underwater base held by the Greys in 1980. Susie claims that her soul is just a fragment of the soul of the tall gray alien, and thus the other abductees at the base were probably other gray ET starseeds as well. In the speech, the Grey mentioned that this would be a period of speculation in which the human masses would be confused by the different narratives floating around in the UFO community. We would also become aware of anti-human agendas conducted by groups of humans on a near global scale. Depending on the public's readiness and receptiveness, they might be told of the work carried out between both species, probably referring to the hybridization programs. Shortly after this period, there would be a period of widespread chaos in which humanity would be focused solely on individualistic survival. They will lose sight of what would benefit humanity on a global level during this dead stage. People will not know where to go geographically or spiritually, and they will be in low spirits. According to Alex Collier, the Greys from Zeta Reticuli 2 plan on deploying a fake Jesus clone who will perform miracles that are easily achieved with ET, holographic technology, and natural abilities. This Messiah will resemble the image on the Shroud of Turin and will be an expert on all world religions. Although he will support believers of all religions, he will primarily support the Hindu philosophy, as the common masses will quickly lose faith in their establishments and previous religions due to what they will witness. Blindly following this Messiah and his religion will be what the masses will tend toward. According to Stuart Swerdlow, the Cabal has deployed him on time travel missions to kill Jesus, Yeshua Malathiel. However, as Jesus was a major figure in the minds of humans for 2,000 years, it was nearly impossible to kill him, as his existence was crucial to the flow of events. Realizing that this was not possible, Stuart was asked to collect some of Jesus' blood so that a clone could be created to win over the trust of humanity after the solar event wreaks havoc. It seems the U.S. government has also been using TR-3BS to study Vissarion, a Russian ex-military officer who claims to be Jesus Christ. Followers have described seeing triangular craft with 3 spheres beneath them pop up regularly over the skies and observe them. This data will probably be used to better formulate the ICC's fake Jesus plan. Most humans have a vulnerability when it comes to their religious programming. Jesus is at the center of this vulnerability, and many are planning to use this against the masses. In 1994, Serge Moniz alleged in an investigative piece that the United Nations and NASA were aiming to create a New Age religion during this event. This was called Project Bluebeam, and it detailed how holographic technology would be used by the government in order to create an artificial alien invasion and the appearance of mainstream gods in the sky using holographic projection technology. He claimed all the gods will merge into one person who will attempt to replace our current religions with a single one-world religion. He mentioned that people around the world will be made to hear the voice of their gods telepathically projected to their minds, specialized chips that will be placed in electronic communication systems that make it seem that supernatural forces are influencing them. According to Moniz, a device has apparently already been perfected that will lift enormous numbers of people, as in a rapture. It seems the aim is to rapture as many people as possible who fear the attacking alien invaders. In any case, there are plans to introduce Jesus into the picture to steer humanity's policies with respect to ET races. ETs from Sirius B and Thiawuba have both claimed responsibility for sending Jesus to Earth in the past, hoping that humans would side with their race if they believed this fact. It is important to realize that the appearance of such a figure will be a major psyop to steer humanity's fate during such a crucial period. 9.4. Accepting ET administration. Before people can make sense of everything that is going on, the upcoming solar flash event will end our existence in 3D. The Federation Nordic ETs will warn us about this, but will tell us that it was an artificial event that the Orion Greys and the Draconian Reptilians orchestrated. The waves of energetic particles from the sun will very quickly shift the frequency or Schumann resonance of the Earth's surface to the terahertz range. Once the shift occurs, we will face tremendous hurdles apart from the great floods, earthquakes, and volcanic eruptions that will be induced by the earth changes and pole shift. After a few years, the electronics that the ETs have seeded onto the human population since the 1950s, which is vital for our infrastructure to operate, will fail in the new energetic environment, resulting in the complete shutdown of our economy. Food and water shortages will hit the populations in urban centers shortly after. There will be no lights during the night and no way for people to communicate with each other over a distance. People will turn on each other, and the brainwashing of zombie apocalypses that are pushed through the media will make it easier for people to target anyone who comes for their food, water, and other resources. Many will succumb to the chaos. Nations will fall and break up into territories that are run by people organizing themselves into their own survival groups, and anarchy will become the norm. According to a Nordic ET contactee named 4, the humanoid ETs are planning to use this opportunity to offer us technology that is still able to operate in elevated background frequencies. This will help many survive the energetic change on Earth. They will also provide people access to food and water until the technology they provide us allows us to be independent again. However, this aid will come at a price. In return, they will ask for administrative rights over the people and the territory. Even right now, allegiances between the different ET factions observing Earth keep changing. Many of the weaker groups are forced to work with the bigger groups in order to ensure that they get a piece of the pie. Many ET groups have already made detailed agreements with each other on how to divide the spoils of securing control over Earth in such a manner. From my understanding, galactic laws acting on the Saturn Council ETs prevent them from directly exploiting us. However, it is still legal for them to manipulate us with the permission of our corrupt leaders toward a situation in which we willingly sell our planet and ourselves away to these races. This is exactly what all these races have been manipulating us towards. They know that in our moment of desperation, we will lose track of the big picture and choose short-term relief from our physical suffering, even if it means we will become trapped even more. Having lost complete faith in human administration after learning about what the cabal has done, while at the same time hearing a lot of pro-Federation propaganda, people in each region will gladly hand over rights to their administration to foreign ET powers for immediate relief of their suffering. Humanity has always been controlled by the ETs of the Saturn Council. Now everyone will happily accept it knowingly. Many of the major figures in the UFO community will become very popular in these times, and they will unwittingly guide the masses towards this outcome. They will tell the masses that we must ally with the good cop ETs so that we may get better protection from the bad cop ETs. Unless people develop discernment, they will fall for this psyop. If the ETs allowed humanity to wake up before the events transpired, we could have prepared by finding a way to shield our electronics and ourselves from the background frequency shift before it took place. We could have also developed alternative mechanical systems to back up those which are heavily dependent on electronics. This would ensure we would have food and water at the very least. This would have made us more independent during the upcoming event, and thus the chances we will hand over administrative rights to humanoid ETs would be much lower once the event occurs. The world governments linked to the cabal's network had more than enough time to prepare humanity for early disclosure, if that was their plan. According to Corey Good, if we fail to regain freedom from the ETs, enslaving humanity genetically during the narrow window the solar flash will provide, we will have to endure another 75,000 years in limitations until the frequency permanently rises to 5D. Years after the solar flash event has occurred, electronics will start to become operable again, and the Earth's surface world will return to 3D. When this happens, humanity will lose the temporary connection they had to the souls in the emotional planes and their enhanced telepathic sensitivity. The ETs are aware that we have the opportunity to free ourselves of their control during this event, and that is why they are carrying out this elaborate good cop, bad cop game to ensure we remain in their control. 9.5. Implanting the survivors. Without the internet and cellular networks, humanity will lose their ability to communicate with each other during the event. Nordic ETs linked to the Orion Greys will offer the survivors implants that will allow them to be connected with each other through another regulated collective like the internet. However, this collective will work by directly accessing our thought processes. We will be told of the benefits of taking this implant, and this will encourage many to try it out. Most won't realize that this technology also has the potential to direct their thought processes and thus their actions. Surviving corporations will soon start demanding that everyone takes these implants, as it is a minimum requirement to work. And before they know it, what was once optional will become mandatory to survive. For's Nordic group, which was linked to the tall Greys of the Orion Empire, was testing these implants on him. The ETs have the ability to shut down all the benefits these implants will provide by locking onto their signal telepathically and projecting a set of frequencies password onto it with their minds. Corey Good's contacts in the Earth Alliance told him that implants are also being mass-produced in the Lunar Operations Command, and that the ICC personnel there have been replaced by Orion Greys and their rogue Galactic Federation allies. These implants are being mass-produced for the human population who will survive the solar event. 9.6. Clearing the surviving humans from Earth. The Galactic Federation will make huge efforts during this period of time to move the people of Earth off planet. Through Elena Denon, they have already spread word of the giant space arcs that may be used to shelter and rescue humanity in the advent of future catastrophes. Elena Denon has already been told of plans to have these ships appear in the sky in the near future. The survivors will be told the Galactic Federation is rescuing them, and many of them will willingly enter these ships. Thor Hahn, or someone posing as him, telepathically told me that the survivors will be taken to Sindriel in the Aldebaran star system, which is a lush green world in which the previous occupants have died off. The people of Earth will be protected, but will have to serve as a warrior race for the Tegatans, just as the German breakaway serves the Draconians. He told me that many races are attacking them, and in order to protect his home, the Pleiadians have decided to use us to that end to fight their wars. He told me that I would be taken directly to Tagata, where I would be given a good position in leadership for my discernment. I asked whether I could have another vessel, but I was told they wanted me, as I was probably because my intellectual capacity was to be preserved. This migration to other ET-controlled human colonies has already started in bulk. Many human souls are being taken off-planet to Aldebaran, Pleiades, and elsewhere based on the traits they exhibited while they were alive. Those souls who leave Earth's noosphere are not allowed to come back, and thus I suspect that they are walking into a trap. Just like the UFO community is infiltrated by the ETs and their propaganda, many of the human souls in 4D emotional plane have fallen prey to ET propaganda and left with them hoping for a better life that they received on Earth. Many people that we think are dead on Earth are actually revived, memory wiped, and living with other families in the human colonies managed by the different Saturn Council groups. Many are approached while they are still dying physically, and thus out of fear of death, their soul may make agreements with ETs to rescue them. In case the person is dying in a circumstance in which local rescue workers and intelligence agencies will not notice an anomaly in a missing person, such as during major disasters and wars, this is permitted, and the human is taken away to live with the ETs. Any injuries they sustain would be healed quickly using medical pods on board UFOs. They are told that they can never ever meet their family or friends on Earth ever again as a part of this agreement to live elsewhere. Only a few will remain on Earth after the Nordics rescue everyone on their ships. Thanks to the vaccinations forced upon the population of the world, many of the remaining survivors will bear children who are sterile. Even now, the fertility rates have declined to a third of what they were 50 years ago. The 2021 COVID mRNA vaccinations will play a major role in altering the genetics of our children to ensure that they are sterile when they grow up. Only a few question why all the world governments would collaborate on this topic without question, destroy entire economies, lock down people for years, impose face masks, and semi-forcefully make everyone take the vaccinations for something that seems to merely have all the symptoms of flu. Most of the people who died were elderly people who already had one or more complications. Since most humans will not be able to have their own children, we will slowly evolve into becoming a society in which the government grows genetically altered children. The family unit will be completely wiped out, and the state will take sole custody of raising children and programming their belief systems. As kids will no longer have their perceptions come from human parents who may be rebels against the system, the chances of anyone rebelling against the ET administrators will decline greatly. During this period, gray human hybrids that resemble humans will also be released onto the surface of Earth from underground facilities en masse. Unlike most humans, the hybrid children will be able to procreate themselves normally and will soon spread across the earth. They will eventually mix with the selected survivors of our race who are given breeding rights, and this is predominantly going to be star seeds with ET genetics. The new hybrids will have our creativity combined with a weaker form of the psychic faculty and mental control the ETs possess. This will make them more formidable than humans. However, to ensure they were controllable, the gray human hybrids were created with the mentality of the tall grays rather than that of the human being. As a result, they are much less rebellious than humans and tend to live life in servitude to their superiors. Thus, they will be more productive workers for the Saturn Council than humans. Additionally, a nutrient defect has been introduced into them to keep them subservient. In case they are not compliant, the Orion Empire will not provide them with this artificially created supplement, and they will die within days. Facilities that manufacture this supplement will not be developed on Earth without the express permission of the ET races that will take over the new genetic experiment. Many of the human souls will end up incarnating in these gray human hybrid fetuses to continue their spiritual evolution. In 1 or 2 centuries, what remains of humanity will breed into the gray human hybrid population, and the ETs will start introducing versions that look more like the grays worldwide. With this, the replacement of humanity with the next genetic experiment would be fulfilled. Our world will become an Orion outpost as per agreements within the Atlantean Draconian Alliance that handles the Saturn Council. Many abductees taken to gray ships have reported seeing gray human hybrids that look very human. These first sets of hybrids have already been sent to Earth to infiltrate major corporations that have been linked with the ICC since the 1980s. Using their ability to telepathically manipulate humans without their knowledge, these hybrids have worked their way into positions of authority within the ICC hierarchy. Eventually, these hybrids and the humans under them will play the role of the Earth Alliance during the solar flash event. They will manipulate events to ensure that nobody realizes the steady replacement of the human survivors by gray human hybrids. The hybrids will have souls that originate within the Orion Gray Hive, and thus they will very likely not betray their kind to help us. 9.7. A possible hot war amongst ET groups. It seems the Atlantean Draconian Alliance has planned for this world to become an Orion outpost in which the surface world would be replaced by gray human hybrids. This will become the next genetic experiment that will be used by the Saturn Council. The Atlantean ETs, such as the Pleiadians, will be allowed to take the surviving humans off-world before this happens and have them transplanted closer to their star systems. These humans will be used to fight their wars and defend allied star systems. Many of the Nordic races are putting on a show branding themselves the Galactic Federation to win over the trust of the population of Earth and take them off the planet to another colony so that they will be repurposed as a slave warrior colony, just like the German breakaway has become the vassal for the Draconians. This will free up Earth so that the gray human hybrids who will have the souls of the Orion group can take over and start the next genetic experiment for those involved with the Saturn Council. According to Four, his Nordic advisor from an ET race working directly with the tall grays that are creating these hybrids has told him that the genetics of many ET races apart from the grays have been added to these new hybrids and that they were not at liberty to disclose which races these are. This suggests that it is possible that even the Nordic ETs that are a part of the Galactic Federation have their own genetics, and thus vested interest in the new hybrids as well. Four has observed many different Nordic races ask the tall grays about the status of the hybridization programs. Elena Danan has even observed drugged gray human hybrid children within the Galactic Federation of Worlds mothership. The fact that the chief geneticist Myra, a Nordic woman from Sirius A, kept the best specimen with her for study tells me that the Galactic Federation has also been studying the progress of these hybrids. Elena was lied to and told that Myra adopted that specimen out of love. Even though most of the races who have fought over us in the past have agreed on how to share the harvest, there is a chance that disagreements will break out between all the ET groups exploiting us together. Additionally, many other groups may try to make deals with humanity after the quarantine ends, and their involvement with the surviving humans may trigger friction amongst the different ET races that are interested in exploiting our vulnerable situation. This can trigger a hot war in which humanity is caught in the middle. In the Lacerta files, the native reptilians have stated that they have had meetings with aspects of the U.S. government in a building in Washington, D.C. that had an elevator that led to their subterranean cavern systems. They passed on information to U.S. officials, but were insistent that they would try to keep themselves as far away from the conflict as they could. Similarly, George Cavazos claims that his alter, who worked for the secret space programs of the U.S. Air Force, has met with representatives of several inner Earth civilizations, including the Ant people and inner Earth Nordics. Although he does not recall all the details as his memory was wiped, he stated that the meetings were to ensure that the upcoming conflicts would not endanger these races. Many of the inner Earth races have their hands tied. They are unable to help us against the much more advanced ET races that are exploiting us. According to Sasquatch Elder Camus, the Sasquatch races around the Earth are the only ones that have not fallen under the control of the Atlantean Draconian Alliance. However, they are afraid of helping us directly, as that would mean they would be attacked as they broke the quarantine rules. The Sasquatch Collective appears to be waiting for the right moment after the quarantine ends to contact key human figures and explain the situation to them. Emery Smith has worked alongside a representative of the Ant people while working in special access programs within Sandia National Laboratories. This ant person was captured by the Cabal and agreed to work for their benefit as a geneticist. During the course of his work, Emery learned from that ant person that his race was being attacked and decimated within the inner Earth cavern systems. It seems the ant people also are suppressed. Very likely, even if ant people make a public appearance shortly after the Nordic ETs present themselves to the world, they will be forced into deceiving us towards the goals of the Saturn Council. I telepathically picked up someone claiming to be the Ant King tell me this as well. Undoing our genetic damage. If people still manage to survive on Earth and not be replaced by the next genetic experiments, many organizations will form that will try. to give humans the right to retake control of their own genetics and overcome all the backdoors and programming that the ETs have put in us to make us their slaves. However, they will soon discover that the ETs have created kill switch mechanisms in our DNA that would make it very difficult to reverse the genetic patterns responsible for our vulnerabilities. When we were engineered genetically, the Saturn Council was adamant that the backdoors and vulnerabilities that were inbuilt into us never lose their potency over generations. Thus, using genetic simulation algorithms, their scientists determined ways to configure our genetic makeup such that if the defective genes were ever corrected, other issues would pop up, leading to the death of the individual. Similar kill switch mechanisms are what prevent healthy cells from turning cancerous. So many cancerous cells form all the time, but our DNA is configured such that most die out due to some other complications. To become a viable cancer cell, the modification in the DNA needs to be an extremely rare configuration that can bypass the kill switches naturally evolved by biological organisms. Thus, the actions of human rebel groups to free humanity from genetic backdoors and vulnerabilities will eventually result in the population suffering major health problems that they cannot fix. This will require human geneticists to work with other ET groups that are advanced enough in genetic engineering to help overcome this barrier. Negotiating deals for this to happen will become essential to our future survival. According to Elena Danan, the Nibiruans who work with the Federation have installed medical pods on the moon that will change our genetics back to what they used to be before the Orion Empire crippled us. She was told that we would be given the option to restore Yeshua's Jesus bloodline within our genetics. This offer will be used to get many of the survivors to fall for another transhumanist agenda that may modify our genetics towards the agendas of the Galactic Federation. We must proceed with caution if any race offers to modify our genetics, even if their intentions appear benevolent on the surface. I would ask people to be wary of the Anshar group that met Corey Good in their underground city. They may not be future humans who have come back to help us. Very likely they will be the ones sent to win us over in a situation in which we lose faith in all ETs and even human governance. They probably will be affiliated with the Saturn Council and will seek to administer us slowly and steadily to bring us back into the hands of the same puppet masters. They plan on showing themselves once we have corrected our genetic defects and blocks in a scenario in which we don't trust other ET groups.